I want to pledge to work within the rule of law and as per the Constitution.
Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli won't see a jail cell. You see, the acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has just been sentenced to 6 months in prison by Justice Lawrence Mugambi. The ruling came after Masengeli repeatedly ignored court summons to explain the mysterious disappearance of 3 Kitengela brothers during recent protests.
Mr. Gilbert Masengeli is sentenced to 6 months imprisonment. Mr. Masengeli is ordered to submit himself to the Commissioner General of Kenya Prisons to ensure that he is to be committed to a prison facility to commence serving sentence of the imprisonment imposed. In the event that he does not submit himself to the Commissioner General of Prison Service as ordered, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Interior must take all steps that are necessary and permissible in law to ensure Mr. Gilbert Masengeli is committed to prison to commence serving the sentence imposed on him. The court nevertheless finds it desirable to impose this sentence as a coercive order as opposed to a punitive order. In that regard, Mr. Masengeli may avoid serving this sentence, and therefore, in that regard, the court shall suspend this sentence for 7 days only. The acting Inspector General of Police can redeem himself and comply by availing himself before this court in person to answer to the issues he has been avoiding. In default, the sentence shall automatically become effective.
But despite the court's decisions, Kenyans are already rolling their eyes, convinced that the Masengeli won't be spending even a minute behind bars. Why? Because we have seen this movie before. Now let's take a flashback to November 18th, 2021. At that time, former DCI boss George Kinoti found himself in a similar hot seat. Justice Anthony Murima sentenced Kinoti to 4 months in prison for contempt of court. The offense? Failing to return a confiscated firearm to businessman who turned presidential hopeful Jimmy Wanjigi. The court was so serious that it even issued arrest warrants with orders for the then Inspector General of Police to make sure Kinoti was locked up. Now, Justice Murima even took it a step further, saying the warrant would stand until Kinoti left office.
See, in the event Mr. George Maingi Kinoti fails to avail himself as ordered above, a warrant of arrest will be issued against him. The warrant of arrest shall be forthwith executed by the Inspector General of Police. In the further event that the Inspector General of Police fails to execute the warrant of arrest, the same shall remain valid and be executed at any time, including when Mr. George Maingi Kinoti leaves the office of the Director of Criminal Investigations. Those are the orders of this court.
Fast forward 3 years later, Kinoti is out of office, yet not a single prison door swung open for him. He is living the good life, free as a bird, somewhere within Nairobi's leafy suburbs. The so-called sentence faded like a poorly written soap opera subplot. And this is exactly why Kenyans are now calling Masengeli's situation the sequel. Same plot, different actors.
The rule of law principle is thus a common thread that the Constitution every demands in almost every function to ensure that every person is held accountable to the law. It ensures the equality of all before the law and prevents arbitrariness. The task of the court is to ensure there is a fair balance by applying the law when disputes arise either between the state and its citizens or between citizens themselves or between state organs or agencies. Neither a state organ or its officers or individual is above the reach of the law, as the Constitution in Article 2, Sub-Article 1 declares. The power of the court to adjudicate disputes according to the law is a delegation by the people pursuant to Article 159, which states that judicial authority is derived from the people and vested in and shall be exercised by courts and tribunals established by under the Constitution. The power is exercised subject only to the Constitution and the law and is not subject to the control or direction of any person or authority by Article 60.
Despite Justice Mugambi's fiery ruling and his call to the current Interior CS to enforce the sentence, Kenyans aren't holding their breath. After all, how do you expect the Ministry of Interior to jail their own? The CS and police have been waving the "We uphold the law" banner, but now the same law is knocking on their door with handcuffs. Will they really play by the rules they so passionately preach, or will they pull the same disappearing act as Kinoti?
Just to wish him the best.
I want to pledge to work within the rule of law and as per the Constitution. I am ready to guide the officers to ensure the public get the desired services, since security is our priority and safety of each and everyone is our responsibility. The common mwananchi, the Wanchiku, should not only feel safe, but be safe at all costs. We have no otherwise.
That summons are given, those summons must be respected. We have families who have brothers to petitioners, siblings to the petitioners, parents to the petitioners, who don't know where the persons they are interested or they care about are missing for 3 weeks.
One thing is very sure, if Masengeli doesn't avoid prison, it won't be a twist ending. It will be a well-rehearsed, predictable script that the audience has seen before. But if Masengeli is sentenced to jail and we find him in prison, then this is gonna be a history made.